All right, and we will continue with offensive lineman Tommy Kraemer. Tommy, your first question will be from Tom Noy.
Tommy, coach talked about not meeting the standard against Clemson. How does the offensive line kind of use that and say, all right, let's do A, B, and C better and play to our standard against Alabama on Friday?
It just comes back to the details. It's not one thing or two things. It's just, being detailed in everything we do, whether it's watching a little bit more film or getting a little bit more drills after practice. It always comes down to the details in our position. I think we've done a great job this week, and we will continue to do it moving forward.
We'll go next to Andrew Mentok.
I wanted to see kind of how debilitating or tough it was to come back from the appendectomy surgery. I've had it myself, but I didn't have to do anything for like a month. So I wanted to kind of see how that process was for you.
Yeah, it was really weird. I felt like I got a point in the season where I was really rolling, and I think I was feeling really good. And then all of a sudden it just kind of hit. And then afterwards it was a little challenging to get, some core strength back, some stuff like that, because I had to go through my stomach. But I think I'm 100% now. Those couple weeks are just a little weird, getting all that back, getting back into shape and moving around. But our medical team did an awesome job, and I feel 100% now.
We'll go next to Ralph Russo.
Hey, Tommy. Wondering, as you look back on this season with all the protocols and all the restrictions and things along those lines, what did you miss? What were the tougher things that maybe you had to sacrifice and give up to play ball this year?
Honestly, probably the camaraderie and brotherhood. It's just different. I think it could be stronger in some ways, but it's not the traditional off season where we could hang out all the time or have barbecues or go to a coach's house. It just didn't work like that. You built brotherhood, and I said this to some guys, you built brotherhood through work. You saw Kyron running sprints on the field, like stuff like that. You just know that these guys have your back, and that's how you really build that bond, where it's different. It was different offseason. You couldn't hang out. You couldn't do stuff like that. So the brotherhood really had to be built on the field and in the facility.
We'll go next to John Finneran.
Hey, Tom, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about, losing Jared Patterson. What did he do? What improvements had you seen him make in his time at center that that you guys depended on, and then suddenly were gone? That were gone when he suffered his injury.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it. Jared's an unbelievable player. He's an unbelievable communicator. He points everything out really well. He really is, the captain of the offensive line when it comes to that aspect of communication and everything. So that was definitely hard, losing a guy like that. But Jared off the field is just as good as he is on the field. He's done a great job, with the guys that are battling, in the center position. He's done a great job with everyone else, helping out with communication. He's been in all the meetings. He's done everything he could, which just shows how strong of a character a guy like that has. So yeah, we miss Jared on the field, but he's been an unbelievable teammate off the field.
We'll go next to Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, just wondering, what was your biggest takeaway from that last time you guys played in a semifinal 2 years ago against Clemson, and what's changed the most since then?
I think the biggest takeaway is that, we can win these games. And I think just hard work and everything we do together is what puts us in these situations. I think we're all really excited for this opportunity and ready to take it to them.
We'll go next to Pete Sampson.
Tommy, from I guess the first Clemson game and the second Clemson game, are there a couple of details you would point to and be like, okay, this is what we were on it in game one and was maybe a little off in game two? And I just sort of, how much is that sort of an emphasis of these 3 weeks to get cleaned up for Alabama? I
don't necessarily know if we were missing details. Like, I think we were still on all of our stuff. There's a few things here or there. We could play it a little bit more physical up front, but we learned from it. We're moving on, and we're ready to take that to Alabama.
And we will go next to Patrick Engel.
Tommy, we heard you guys a lot earlier in the season talk about the outside zone and how that's seems to fit you guys as an offensive line and a rushing operation really well. What do you think has made it fit you as a unit well, and to the point where, at least in November, you were able to go up against a defense like Clemson's and run the ball on a team like that?
Honestly, I think it first starts with our coaching staff. We have a phenomenal coaching staff that do a great job of putting us in the best situations. And then secondly, probably our backs. We have the best backs we've had since I've been here. They make the offensive line right. If there's a situation where we're not in the best position, they cut back and, burst really long runs. So I think it really boils down to those two things. We have a great coaching staff and then awesome backs who, put us in the right position.
We have a question via the chat from Todd Burlage. What has your time in Notre Dame meant to you? And to add on to that, what does it mean for you to represent Notre Dame?
My time at Notre Dame has been phenomenal. These past 5 years, I've built some of the best friendships and met some of the best people I've ever could have imagined. So it's been so special. And then, moving forward to represent this great university and the great people that I've met throughout here is special. And it's something that, you can't take lightly. There's a lot of people who have made me who I am that, watch me on Saturdays. So I'm really excited to go out there for them. And I've done that all season and throughout my career here, but it's a very special place.
We'll go next to Matt Freeman.
Hey, Tommy, kind of talking about Patterson a little bit. I mean, what are some of the challenges of bringing, I guess, two centers along and one who hasn't played a ton in Zeke? Obviously, that's not easy, but I mean, what can you do to kind of help them out?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just over communicate. Just pointing out things, helping them out in any way that we can, seeing different stances of defensive linemen, different weight, anything we can. And then off the field, watching extra film with them, the guards and the tackles, everyone just kind of getting together and, honing down the communication aspect. But I think that's honestly the biggest thing in the center position is communication and making sure we're all going to the right place and, seeing everything through one set of eyes.
And we will wrap it up with you with AP Studham.
Yes, good morning, Tommy. Tommy, I wanted to ask you about Alabama's defensive line. It seemed like they made some progress through the year, and specifically maybe about the edge rusher, Will Anderson Jr., the freshman.
Yeah, I mean, they have a very good defensive line, linebacking core. They're big, strong, tough. Number 31's a good player. He's got speed. He can make some different moves out there, but, it's nothing we haven't seen thus far. We're preparing to play the best every day, and that's what we're ready for this upcoming Friday. So we're excited to get after them. They have a great team, but we have a great O-line. It's going to be a great battle.
All right, and we will wrap it up with you there. Thank you very much, Tommy.
Thank you, guys.